I'm also a lesbian, and I'm vegan. Meat is murder. Cows fart, and the climate changes. I voted for Kamala. And Tampon Tim. I loved Tampon Tim. He seemed like a great guy, who probably does wear tampons. Also, Mexicans are great gardeners. And they're cheap. Please don't deport my gardener, Juan. He's so affordable. I know I'm lesbian, but he's also kind of hot. I get confused sometimes. Like right now, when I see President Trump, I know I'm supposed to hate him like CNN told me to. But he's also kind of hot. He's even hotter than Juan. Mucho caliente. I'm all
Mucho caliente. Oh, man. What is up, my friends? It is good to see you. I am back after a wild trip. First of all, I am sorry I was not on at all yesterday. I tell you, I had the craziest day. And for those who don't know, I was in Washington, D.C. yesterday for the inauguration and also for the Commander-in-Chief ball last night. And I wanted to actually stream a little bit, put it out for you guys, but the internet was horrible. I could not get a solid connection wherever I was, and it just wasn't going to work out. So I apologize, but it all worked out because I got plenty to talk about. What a first couple days. The king is back. He has returned. The land is at peace again. All is well in the world. I am feeling it. Are you guys feeling it? It just feels so good. So good to say goodbye. Bye-bye, Biden. And it's just beautiful. So tonight we're going to talk about the inauguration, the first 2 days of Trump back in charge. I'm going to share a little about my trip, some of the phenomenal stuff I got to experience, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and what's going on. And let's just have a good time. It's good to be back. Let me say hey to some of the beautiful people in here. Phil Haynes, what's up? Wago Waco being pro, Alan Agajanian, Cassink, Toe Cramp, Just Mike, Curtis Hatcher, what is going on? Girth Mike, Kim Wiley, CJ Yuko, what's up? Vin Man the One, what it do? Candace, you worried about me? Well, wait till you hear my story. Country Computers, Bob Wren, Cindy Lou, I'm home, Troy Man, Patrice, Linda Telly, welcome back, thank you. Mark R, Hero Large, has 9 inches of snow in Florida. I know. I saw 10 inches in Louisiana. That is wild. Agent Orange, we did it, Joe. Ace D, what's up, Lyrical? Bond, Ace Bond. No tux tonight. Sorry. Listen. Jack Hamilton. All right. Country Computers. It's still the hat. It's always going to be on. What did you think was going to happen? My church, no. Oh my gosh, that woman today was awful in the sermon. So, yeah, who are you watching? Donna, what's going on? So now what? Vince Felice, been to a couple Game 7s, going to Commander-in-Chief ball. It was unbelievable. And thank you to who set that up. They won't be named, but it was amazing. And Lock Up, Steve Bernard, what's up? It's Mr. Ace now. They call me Mr. Ace. Sergio, what's up? Yeah, DJT not fun today, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. Michael Tucker, Mantan, Automags, Drew Savala. I think you're getting 4 or 5 inches in Houston, I heard. Ryan Edberg, what's going on? So, yeah, no more generous dude. Listen, so many things, but listen, let me tell you guys my story first, okay? So, I arrived Sunday and had to do some work at the hotel, and then got out, watched the Ravens-Bills game, which was ultra fun because I was in a bar where it was all Ravens fans, and I got to cheer for the Bills, and that was really fun. That was super fun. But so Monday, turns out I couldn't make it to the inauguration. It was just being indoors and freezing. I was about 25 minutes away. There was just no way I was going to get in line in time. So I missed that, but I went and I visited the mall. I went around. I just saw everything I could, prayed, saw some people out there, saw Ivan Ranklin, saw Tucker Carlson from afar. I didn't get to talk to him. That was cool. And but so it gets crazy though when I go to the ball. So I had to, everything was locked up in DC. Okay, there's gates up everywhere. There's police and military everywhere. And to get to the ball I was going to, the Commander-in-Chief ball, I had to get downtown. And going downtown meant finding parking, which was like unreal. It was so hard to find. The parking garages were full, the parking lots were full. I finally turned the corner on a road and just somebody had an open spot. So I snatched that spot. It's kind of a sketchy area. I was like, well, Jesus protect my pilot. So, and now I got like 5 blocks to walk, right, to the ball, and it's freezing. With wind chill, it was like 10 degrees. It was absolutely freezing. And I'm in my jeans and sweatshirt because I left the hotel, and I don't have a hotel the rest of the day. So I have to change into my tux in my Honda Pilot. So I am in the Honda Pilot and I get in the back seat, and like when I'm trying to start changing, there's this dude who just walks up and just starts hanging out right by the what was it? The light pole. He's just chilling. And I'm trying to change, and I really don't want anybody watching. I'm like, this is so embarrassing. I'm 6'2", all right? It's not easy to change in a car when you're 6'2". So I'm really just trying to move slow. Like every time he looks away, I try to like do something real fast. And then he leaves, and this woman goes and stands next to the store, and she's right by my car. And I'm just like, what gives? And the whole rest of the street, there's nobody. I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is unreal. Finally, she leaves. So I'm changing super fast. I have to change out of, and it's freezing. Okay. So I have a big coat on. I have to get the tux on. I get the shirt, the vest, the jacket, the pants, the shoes, and then my big coat. And it's so hard. So then finally I get all that done. And then I got to walk like a mile in these new tux shoes to the ball. And anyways, get there. There's a gate and there's a line of like 4,000 people. It's so far back. In fact, I want to show you guys some of these photos I took, because it was unreal. It was beautiful. It was so worth it, but it was crazy because everybody wants to see Trump and everybody's out there fighting the weather. So they're willing to do it, but it's not easy. I'm telling you. It's not easy. So let me pull this up right quick. I want you guys to see how big this line was. All right. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to have to make that much smaller. There we go. Okay, so here's a little video. And this is outside, because where it's freezing. And it just goes all the way down there. It's down there. And that's at like 5:30. Well, the gates are supposed to open at 5:30. They don't open until 7:45, 8 o'clock. And so people are standing out there. I bug out. I go to this I go to this lobby and hang out, and I'm just meeting people. And that's where I see Ranklin. In fact, I got a picture of him. It's not a very good one, but bear with me. There he is right there. He's talking to some people. It's just pandemonium. So I'm talking to people. I'm hanging out. We're having some drinks, eating some pizza. I met these really nice ladies from Alaska who like help run the Republican Party up there. They They bought me pizza and a beer. It was awesome. I was like, what do I look poor? I'm in this nice tux, but they wanted to buy, so I wasn't complaining. But finally, we get to go to the ball, and guys, I'm telling you, it is so beautiful. It was like a fairy tale. There's the stairs walking up, and we're here, going up there. I wanted to show you guys all this yesterday. It's red carpet. I mean, this is the most VIP thing I've probably ever been to. This one's all military. There's 3 balls. There was the Liberty Ball, the Commander-in-Chief Ball, and the Starlight Ball. And I was very fortunate because we got Trump first. Well, then we're out in there, and it's crazy. I mean, you see all those people? So I navigate my way to the front. There's a stage. Got some good food. Everybody's cheering every time I get down. Here's the crowd. I got pretty close to the stage. You see that? I was able to finagle my way up there. And we're just hanging out there. Well, I get in there. It's like 8:15. And we were there for... I think Trump finally came out at 10:30. So I was standing in this sweaty group of people for 2 hours. I went from freezing to where my ears felt like they were going to fall off to sweltering heat. But it's all worth it because there's the stage. It's just super cool. Oh, here's Pete Hegseth was over here. And then that's Kid Rock right there. You can see the hat, the hair. He was smoking. You could see the smoke coming up. He's the only one allowed to smoke, which was awesome. One of those was Fox News was up there somewhere. I could never quite figure out where it was. Color Guard came out, and then the man himself with Melania. So we were fortunate. He was the first. We were the first ball he came to. And that's about as close as I got. It was about 30 feet away. I was hoping that maybe he'd make his way through the crowd, but obviously with security concerns, it made sense he won it. But it was still awesome. So he didn't shake hands with anybody or anything like that. Obviously, people are like, tell him about MMTLP. Tell him to settle the trades. I'm like, what? These people are screaming at him this whole time. Are you kidding me? So there's a little bit of walking.
Mrs. Melania Trump.
Man, the legend. I'm in the shower. You know, it's unreal, dude. It just is. You don't think like you'd ever get to experience anything like that, you know? So this is what it would have been. If I was live, you could hear the noise. It was alert. No, I wasn't able to meet up with William, unfortunately. There was no way I was going to have time. So they're there. They get ready to dance. And then here comes J.D. Vance. Comes out with his lovely wife. They all dance together. But here's the best part. I got one real cool thing I want to show you guys, and then we're gonna get to the rest of the live. But here it is. Oh no, that's JD coming out. Oh yeah, he gave his speech. It was great. It was Trump being Trump. You could tell he was exhausted, but he was giving it his all. And you know, he's amazing. 78 years old, and he's just he'd probably been going since 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and now at this point when he's speaking right here, it's like 10:45 at night. His voice was mostly gone. We were the first ball of 3 he was going to, and he still put on a show. And here's the proof. This is just one of the greatest things I've ever seen. So let me set it up real quick. So this is the end. They're saying goodbye, and they cut this cake Let me zoom in on it here. They cut this cake, some kind of tradition in the middle here. They cut it with a sword, and then they queued up YMCA, and this is what we get. Oh. This is the best. Put his ear out. Do I hear it? There it is. The Trump dance. And he's got the sword. We don't deserve him, guys. He's the best. Getting to see this live is something special, I'll tell you. Trump with a sword. I love it. So, anyways, that was my night. And then after this, he left at like 11. I had to go get my coat. It took like half hour to get it because of crowds. And then I drove home 6 hours. And with my rests, because I had to take some naps here and there because I was getting tired, I got home at 7:30 a.m. this morning. And I showered, I got dressed, and I went to work all day. So that's how my last couple days have been. But you know what? It was worth every minute. And today and yesterday, when I had breaks, I was listening to shows, podcasts, catching up on all the news. And I got to tell you, it's just been one of the best things I've ever experienced. I can't tell you enough how special it was to, you guys all know how hard I worked last year to just cover this election, do the best possible coverage for you guys, keep the faith, keep optimism high, show you why I always believed he was going to win, and break stuff down. And you guys just know how hard I worked because you guys saw the results. You were here, you watched every video. You just saw all I put into it, and I was exhausted when it was over, when we won, because I was going hard 5-6 nights a week sometimes, and but this was the fruit of it. We won, and I'm not saying it was me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying all of us did a part, and I went as hard last year as I've ever gone towards something like this, and just to know that, because all of us Americans who wanted this, who fought for it, we got it. And then for somebody to gift me with this opportunity that you can't buy, it's invitation only, to get to stand there on Inauguration Day and be in the same room, just 30 feet away from Trump, and watch iconic moments live. Be in Washington, D.C. when on the day our whole nation literally changes, I think forever, or at least for a very long time. It was just one of the most amazing, special things ever, and I'm so grateful I got to be a part of it. I feel like things are shifting in such big ways. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I'm really processing right now because I think we knew this was big. I think it's going to be bigger than we know. Yeah, and last year, I told you guys over and over again leading up to the election, so many people had lost hope or were scared, worried, and all the stuff that we kept thinking could happen. Was it going to be a pandemic? Were they going to start World War III? Was Michelle Obama going to jump in the race and steal it? Thing after thing after thing. Were they going to kill Trump? Whatever it was going to be. And none of it happened because we beat it. We beat it by sharing information and by refusing to believe lies, and by prayer. That's it. Those three things saved our nation. People standing up and doing that. And then, of course, Trump's team and him fighting. But that's what the American people did. They refused to believe lies, they spread truth, and they prayed. And it won. Our nation started changing as a result. And I don't think it's coincidence that this week, it's freezing in D.C. and it snowed as soon as I got there. It's snowing at my house tonight in North Carolina. It's snowing like records in Louisiana and Houston and Florida. And I don't know if you guys know, but in, prophetically speaking, if you have like a dream, I know dream interpretation, and I've interpreted hundreds of dreams over the years for people and myself. With pretty good accuracy. I've been trained in it. And it was snow falling. When you have a dream and there's a lot of snow in it, it usually represents purity, like a washing over, like a rebirth or a renewal. That's the best word for it, actually, is renewal. I don't think it's coincidence that this week, when Trump is being inaugurated and he's coming in and he's changing our government and our nation in just a couple days already, I don't think it's coincidence that the whole southern, well, actually it's everywhere on at least east and southern, that it's all being snowed on. I really don't think it's coincidence. I think it's renewal. It's renewal. God's bringing renewal to our nation. And it spoke to me so much. It's why it's so cold, but it's a, because when it snows, it's so beautiful and still and quiet. It's peaceful. And, I know a lot of people are like, well, it's annoying. I got a shovel. I was stuck. I can't go to work. Fine. You can think of all that, but it's just a couple days. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's a treat. You don't get to experience this much, and it's a blessing in some ways, as long as you're safe, obviously. But when the snow falls and you get out, and it's just like, it absorbs all the sound and you get peace again. And God, I think, is just showing us that, like, our nation is he's renewing our nation. He's renewing our nation. It's changing. And that's really exciting. That's really exciting. Uncle Andy asks, what does fire mean? Fire means cleansing. Fire means cleansing because it burns and cleanses. I talked about that last week. But I know it's not every state anything like that, and it's rarely is, because all the states are so different. But you can't ignore the fact that this is just hitting so many places. I mean, I saw a picture today of Louisiana having 10 inches of snow. That's insane. That's insane. And it doesn't have anything to do with global warming. I mean, that's nonsense. But I don't believe in coincidences. I don't. And you know what? Not believing in coincidences has got me very far. It's got me really far. Last year, why have I been able to be so accurate about so much politically? It's because I don't believe in coincidences, I'm in my lane. Politics, I understand. The spiritual stuff, I understand. When I'm in my lane, I just know what I'm talking about, because I just know. I've been trained in this stuff, and I just know it. And so I'm telling you guys, there's something very special going on. Something very special going on right now. And so I'm so excited. And can you just feel the fun is back? Now the old man, the crazies are gone. We got rid of them. They're gone. I'm so happy. And you could just feel the joy. Walking through the streets of DC, I saw like two crazy people. One guy was on a bike and he had all this dumb paraphernalia on him, just telling us fascists to go home. But it was like the vast majority of people there were MAGA people, okay? And they were just so happy, and there was so much joy and love, and the town itself felt peaceful, which that is not how it's been in the last few elections, okay? And so there's just so much is changing. And Trump brings that because he brings strength. He brings strength. And so it's just so good to have adults back in the room. And so I say Return of the King. Obviously he's not a king, but for optics, for I'm trying to speak a word here. That's my tongue. I'm getting tongue-tied. Symbolically, there it is. Symbolically, he is king. Okay. He obviously, like, I don't want anybody to argue with me over that. It's just a symbol. He is the face of our nation now, and the king is returned, and things are just so much better. So that was my wild 2 days in DC, how that all came together. Just unbelievable, and just awesome stuff. So, okay, let's go through some of the news. There's so much going on. So forgive me if I miss something. All right, forgive me if I miss something, but I'm going to try to cover some of the highlights of the last couple of days, and just how unbelievable, how fast things are moving already. Like, our nation is already changed in just the first 2 days of Trump. Let me catch up with you guys real quick. Yeah, please say, before you go on, like, subscribe. Please share the video if you like my stuff. I appreciate that. Post it on your Facebook, retweet it on X, something like that. I do appreciate it. If you guys know people who like MAGA news or in-depth stuff, or even Christians who like who need something a little more livelier than the 700 Club. Yeah, so share it, and help promote the channel. That's all I ask of you guys. And then and if you feel like it, join. It's only $3 a month. You get extra content, you get your live shows, extra live shows, and access to the Discord chat. So really fun. There is a couple upper tier levels if you want to support more. If you feel like you just love the content and you want to give a little bit more, hey, I'm not going to stop you. But $3 is the base level, and you get everything there. So you want to know who got the airplane on top of the cake? Thank you, Toe Cramp. It was amazing. Leonard says, Trump's going to take over firearm and ammunition sector. God bless America. Well, he's going to take it all over, but yeah. Guilty Gunner, God bless. Cold in Wisconsin. Isn't it always cold in Wisconsin? Arizona, you guys need some water? Thank you, Mark R. Katsink says, Trump learned things from first term, second go round after just 1 day. Yeah, I'm going to talk about all that. So, Dubois, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Max says, pray we get Trump or new SEC chairman tweet or address fraudulent shorting because you're witnessing cheat. Listen, okay, so I do want to speak to that. I'm glad you brought it up. I have seen this a lot already on Twitter, and it's people just pissed that everything's not fixed yet, especially in the financial markets. And I just want to tell you guys, like, patience, Iago, patience. It's only been 2 days, all right? The shorting and the market manipulation, it's not going to be an executive order that stops it. It's not, because it's already law. What they're doing is illegal. And what's going to have to happen is that Trump's going to have to get his people in place, Bondi, Kash Patel, and the new SEC chair. Once they're all confirmed, they can start getting to work. So patience. This is going to, we're winning now, but it's still going to take time for everything to play out. An executive order for the markets, unless he's just banning short selling for altogether for a short term, which I don't think Trump's going to do. But that's the only way it would, at least he's not ready to do that yet, but that's the only way it would stop immediately. So what we're dealing with, it's about enforcement. It's not about the rules on the book as much. It's about enforcement. Some rules here and there, but the SEC chair will be responsible for that. So guys, just chill. It's coming. It's coming. Just once you see what he's already doing, it's going to be hard to believe he won't get to it. All right. We are now being unbidened by what has been Bidened. I love that. Thomas, does anyone agree a pastor chick gave the sermon should be excommunicated for church? The problem is that church, Thomas, I can tell you as somebody who understands the church really well in America, that particular church, that's who they've all become. So she won't be excommunicated, even though they've just lost. They've completely, in Christianity we call it, forsaken their first love. That church, that liberal orthodoxy, is completely forsaken their first love. They're not even Christian, in my opinion. They're not. It says in the Bible, you know them by their fruit, and they have no fruit. So once you reject the Bible, you can't be a Christian. So Johnny says, church thing proves how deep-rooted the woke ideology is. It does, but I'll tell you, unfortunately, that wokeness has been in the church for a long time. My father back in 2003 in the Episcopal Church. He was an Episcopal priest. And in our diocese, well, no, it wasn't our diocese, it was just in America, they appointed a gay bishop. And my dad and a few priests and our bishop that was in our diocese were the only diocese in the whole country to stand up and say, this is wrong. This cannot be allowed in the church. I was part of a debate at 22 years old. 22 years old? No, 20 years old. At 20 years old, I was part of a national debate where we were in this giant cathedral and people were up talking about stuff. And I got to speak to this guy who was kind of talking about how, it's the opinion of the church. He was this little Weasley rat dude. And I got to say on a mic in this public debate, nationwide debate, listen, the Bible's not about opinion. God tells us what our opinion is supposed to be. And anyways, that was, you guys think I'm fiery now. I've always been fiery. I did that at 20 years old. And after that, because they didn't stop, my dad left the Episcopal Church and came under the Anglican Church, which was almost as bad, but they hadn't publicly gone that far yet. And then he died before they got to that point. So anyways, just crazy stuff. But yeah, so it's been simmering in a lot of the church for a very long time, unfortunately. And it's very, very sick. And you can actually go all the way back to the Gospels and the epistles where John talks about the spirit of the Antichrist is already here. He's talking about the ideology of Gnosticism, which was basically the first woke ideology. It was a heresy. And it was in the early church. So, what's up, Big JR? We're back. Am I talking about Leatherby? I don't remember the name, Brett. Jim Boswell says, some YouTube channel ministers think DJT is ushering in the Antichrist. He is not. Listen, for the last time, guys, for the last time, there is no Antichrist. There is no Antichrist. Not as a person, not as a big bad guy who's coming back someday to... It's not. The Antichrist spirit, John talks about, there's only one time in the whole Bible the Antichrist is talked about. It's in 1 John. And it talks about the Antichrist spirit, which is any spirit of heresy, basically, that tries to get into the church. And the idea of an Antichrist came along 1,500 years later, mostly pushed about by John Calvin to start. And it's just not true theology. It's not true theology. And anybody who's done their research before Calvin and early church fathers and actually reads their Bible understands this. But anyways, I digress. We're not going into that tonight. I've done that too many times over the last year. If you guys want my real thoughts on that, you can join the Patreon. And I did a 16 video class on breaking all that down so you guys can understand that. But yes, there's no way DJT's bringing in the Antichrist or the end times, because it's just, they all believe, in my opinion, a heretical theology of the end times. But we're not going to get into that tonight. Raised Catholic and non-denominational. Yeah, I was raised Episcopalian, but my dad always told me, he'd tell me, son, we're not Episcopalians, we're Christians. We just worship in the Episcopalian Church. And he said, never choose a tradition. My dad was a very wise man. He taught me early on. He said, never choose tradition over biblical truth. And he said, so I didn't. Oh, that's all right, Jack. Glad to have you back as a member. Anyways, Pentecostal and Catholic or Episcopalian, that's awesome. That's an interesting thing. So I love it. All right, guys. Let's go through some of the stuff that Trump's already been doing, because there's plenty to talk about. So today, Trump got to announce a $500 billion AI infrastructure investment coming into the U.S., which is wild. This originally started as it was going to be $100 billion. Trump asked for it to get to $200 billion, and now it's up to $500 billion. That's how optimistic people are about the U.S. That's $500 billion coming in, and that is amazing. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to power our economy. I'm telling you right now, guys, that the AI is not going anywhere. I use it all the time. All the time. It's completely changed my life and my work. It makes everything easier and better. You do not need to fear AI. What you need to do is learn it. Because if you learn how to master AI, it's not hard, it just takes time. If you learn how to use AI in your regular work, you'll be far ahead of the curve. And in about 10 years, the people who are going to be doing the best are going to be people who know how to manage AI in their work. And that will also make you, if you're still in the workforce, it'll make you very valuable to other companies, because you can call yourself an AI expert. What they're going to do is they're going to get rid of the people who can't work with AI, who still are doing things the old way. AI is making everything easier. It makes busy work go away. AI is not going to come. It's not going to become Terminator. We don't got to worry about any of that. But what it is going to do is going to get better and better at its workflow. And we're going to go through an industrial revolution type area where at first a lot of people are going to lose jobs, because what AI does is it takes the people who are already good at their work and then also bring in AI, and they can, and all of a sudden they become super workers. And they don't have to work as hard. It's amazing. So you can do, if you just know what you're doing. So I encourage everybody. I did a class on my Patreon as well about how you can even create a business with AI, an online business, get it up and running in like an hour or less. It's amazing. So the people who ride the AI train are going to become very wealthy and very successful. The people who run away from it are going to get left behind. And then everything else, learn how to work with your hands, because that's what's going to happen. AI is not coming for, it's not the robots coming for the workers like we used to think. No, it's the computers coming for the white collar college people. College degrees are going to become more and more worthless here very soon. They're already the most worthless they've ever been in America. They're going to get more and more worthless. What you're going to want, there's going to be a few degrees still worth it, but most degrees are going to go the way of the dodo. It's AI is just going to change everything, but it's going to make life much better, because it's going to make less mistakes, and it's going to eat up busy work. So it's going to free you up to live better lives, make more money, but there is going to be a transition period. So jump on now. So, because eventually it'll all work out just like the Industrial Revolution. We'll all be employed again. We'll all figure it out. But you don't want to be the person who's last. You don't. You don't want to be the grunt. So, but this kind of stuff is happening. So it's going to be, the people who work with their hands are going to become much more valuable, and people who manage AI are going to have some of the most access to easy money. And this is just more proof of it. It's not going away. You don't invest $1 trillion into the private economy. So, yeah, I know the mRNA vaccine thing is insane. That's just tech guys talking. That does not, you don't got to worry about that. If it's available, it's available. But I think in the next couple of years, as with RFK coming into HHS, the whole mRNA thing is going to get exposed. So listen, don't worry about that stuff. That wasn't Trump saying it. It was just a guy getting up there. I don't think Trump expected him to say that. It is what it is. Okay, what's Trump going to do? Call him out in front of everybody when he's part of dropping $500 billion into our economy? No. So, but already AI is diagnosing people's sicknesses better than a lot of doctors. So people are finding they get a weird sickness and they go to one doctor and they'll ask another doctor. They'll get differing opinions. They'll put everything through AI, and they actually get a more accurate diagnosis in both. It's wild. It's wild. So, yeah, never put your faith in that. So, Brett, you say working with your hands. Maybe that's what Newsom's doing with his hand gestures. Newsom's tired of the fact that he can't just work with his mouth anymore. That used to work. All right, so I don't know if you guys have been following this. They already approved Rubio. They were supposed to vote on Hegseth right after, but Democrats are starting to stall some of the confirmations. Pam Bondi's not going to get her vote anymore until the 29th. And the good news is the Republicans are fighting back. They're not just rolling over, which they used to do. Tom Cotton tweeted this today. My message to obstructionist Democrats, don't make plans this weekend. We're going to get President Trump's nominees confirmed the easy collegial way or apparently the hard way. So the good news is the Republicans are fighting with Trump to get his confirmations or his nominations through fast and confirmed. That's good. They're not always on the team, so this is just completely different. It shows that the Senate's actually working with Trump this time. And we really want those nominations to get in because Trump can only do so much on his own. Once his nominations are in, that's when things are really, really, really going to move. All right, let's go. I want to show you this real quick because where is it? Yeah, here we go. All right, let's go through the Trump signed most of these yesterday. And just in case you haven't seen this, I'm going to go through this real quick because this is changing the game. Some of this is so huge. I think our whole country and government changed overnight with these because of these executive orders. So instead of waiting, Trump did this yesterday. So nominations, these are executive orders. Nominations of a cabinet, nominations, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Every inauguration day is full staff flags. I love that. Biden pushed off the flag being raised at its fullness for the inauguration. He ordered flags to be raised at only half mast for Jimmy Carter. And he ordered it for inauguration day, even though the funeral was 11 days ago. Just a dirty prank by Biden. So that's Trump doing that. He immediately revoked almost every single Biden executive order, which was beautiful. Ended federal censorship, ended weaponization of federal government. That's going after, like they went after Trump. Returned to in-person work of federal agents. I love this. So he went out there and said, get back in your office or you're gone. There's going to be some fight back on that, but this is one way to clear out a lot of federal workers that don't need to be there. He froze all new regulations for a temporary time until they can evaluate them all, see where they want to go. So no new regulations while Trump is in for now. Froze all federal hiring that's not military. He's weeding out the ones that don't need to be there first before they hire anymore. Every cabinet member is ordered to help lower inflation or its effects. That's kind of symbolic, but it will push a little bit there. Withdrew from the Paris Climate Accords. Thank you, Jesus. That's completely done. Pardoned all 1,500 J6ers. And I think there's 15 people he did not pardon. He still commuted their sentences so they got out. But they found about 15 people who had actually gotten fights with cops. And so they said, okay, you're going to keep your charges, but no more prison time. You've done enough. So every J6er is now free, and 1,500 of them are out, are pardoned completely. So that's huge. And on top of that, let me jump ahead real quick before I come back to this. He also tonight, he pardoned Ross Ulbricht. I don't know if you guys know what Ross Ulbricht is. Some of you will, some of you won't. This guy has been through hell because basically he created a free black, the story's muddled. The story's muddled. But depending on what you believe, he's wrongfully imprisoned and much harsher sentence than anything he would have deserved. But he's a hero of the libertarian cause, and this is a promise fulfilled to the libertarians. And this is absolutely huge. One of my friends is a huge Ross Ulbricht fan, and he went nuts when he found this out. The other thing going on is that even though the J6ers have been pardoned and their sentence commuted, some DC prisons are refusing to release the prisoners. They are going against Trump. And this has been a big story the last day, that how many are being refused to be released. Well, Trump said, screw it, I'm sending in the federal marshals. So United States Marshals are now going into the D.C. prison, refusing to release the Jan 6 hostages. This tells me that there's going to be some prison guards and maybe wardens that are going to be getting in major trouble with the federal government. Trump is not messing around. This is moving fast. Think about this, guys. We've only had Trump in office for about 34 hours so far, and already things are moving. Tom Homan said the deportation strikes are being carried out starting today or tomorrow, but it's all moving quick. This Trump team came in ready to move. They are not screwing around. He gave TikTok more time to be bought, and there is some talk of maybe it is going to go to Elon. We'll see. This is huge. Withdrew completely from the World Health Organization. We give the World Health Organization between $500 and $800 million a year. We are the sole reason they are funded, and now we are withdrawn from them. They will not get our funding. This could collapse that entire organization, which is good. They just need to go bye-bye. They're freaking out. They don't know what to do, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Signed an order making it easier to fire underperforming and insubordinate federal employees. Revoked the security clearances of the 51 intelligence officials who lied in 2020 about Hunter's laptop. This is huge. Revoked there. He also fired General Milley and took away John Bolton's Secret Service security. I mean, he's doing all of this like immediately. National emergency on the southern border. Work around security clearance backlog for Trump employees. Or multiple cabinet branches to work on reforming America's trade policy. Clarification, U.S. military can help in defending America's border. Unleashing American energy. Refugee admission program is halted. That's beautiful. They shut down that app that Biden was using for people to come in. They'd walk into the country. They'd be on the app. They'd say, we're claiming sanctuary, get an appointment, and then they'd just be let in free. They shut that down. J.D. Vance talked about it in his debate. It's gone. It is gone. Halted birthright citizenship. That's going to be challenged. That's going to be taken to the Supreme Court. But I guarantee you the reason Trump did this executive order was so that the Supreme Court would rule on it. Because it has been long interpreted that anybody can come over here, pop out a baby, and that baby is now a citizen. That Trump is challenging that, and there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, there's no way, this is such an easy overturning, it's the first line of the 14th Amendment. Well, tell that to people in the first 100 years of the 14th Amendment. Here is a subject to the complete jurisdiction thereof, salvaging original meaning of citizenship clause, basically saying, this is, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is a breakdown of how the birthright citizenship, it does not mean you can just come over here and pop out a baby. It means you are subject to the jurisdiction before you have that baby. So there's some nuance in there, and hopefully the Supreme Court rules in his favor and we get this decided once and for all. And I believe that is why he issued that executive order, to force the Supreme Court's hand. Getting the border wall built, and then he said to California, people over animals, or people over fish, that's what he said, and basically ordered on federal lands, I believe, water in California to be diverted and freed up more. So just huge stuff. There's more stuff in there, but this is all this alone changes our country overnight. This almost single-handedly will fix most of the border stuff. It won't fix the path to legal immigration. That has to be in law. But this just fixes the enforcement of the southern border. He also declared cartels are now terrorist organizations, which means he can unilaterally, because they're now terrorist organizations, he can unilaterally send out teams, like SEAL teams, to go take out cartels. We can strike them So this puts the cartels on the list, and it also means anybody doing business with them in the U.S. is now aiding and abetting a terrorist. So that put big notice on the whole fentanyl crisis, opioid crisis, all the stuff coming across the border, and puts Mexico on notice because the cartels run Mexico. Not the good Mexico. We want to be, we want to have peace with Mexico. We don't want to fight the country. But this is like having Hamas next door to us, and now we can call them what they are and have the tools to go after them. So just a huge day, and this is all day one, all day 1 and 2, just unbelievable. And missed the executive order legalizing crack. Sorry, Brett. I'll put that one in for you. Yeah, and that's Brett says they're already suing over the birthright issues, which is good. We want them to, because we want those. We want it to be challenged at the Supreme Court and ruled on. Even if they rule against us, even if they rule against Trump, at least, guys, at least it'll be decided, and we can move on. But this has to be decided. So, Jim Boswell says, your grandfather predicted AI decades ago. He was a fellow professor with John Mockley at Ursinus College in the 1940s. That's amazing. That's awesome. Thomas Dubois, cancer update, says, had a doc appointment last week. Had 3 men doctors examine me post-chemo. Visit went good. You pulled the Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, doctor. That's awesome, Thomas. Well done. I'm glad you're doing well, man. Hero says, Cotton told them to be ready to work nights and weekends. Good. You know what those people love more than anything else is their time off. So take it away from them. Let's see here. Alan says, I think some of the ones who are at home don't exist working for government. I agree with you. Yeah, I think the bringing them in from the office, or they're double dipping. Maybe they're collecting 2 or 3 salaries and barely doing any work. So. Chris, I did not get to talk to William yesterday. No, it was a bummer. It was a super bummer. So, Drew says, crazy stuff. ChatGPT, something wrong with basic math sometimes. Yeah, well, yeah. If you're doing math on ChatGPT, always have it double check itself. It'll get it right, but you have to make sure it double checks. Sometimes it just moves too fast. But that's going to clear up. That's going to clear up. Big JR says, marriage advice, be careful, never ever say pop out a baby within listening to this. No, I'm allowed to say it now. We've done enough. It's 5 years away since the last time she was pregnant, so I can get away with it. Thank you, JC Cool. You liked me in my tux. I appreciate that. Ace D, the other Ace, says, is it true executive orders can be challenged by court? 100%. Anything can be challenged by the Supreme Court. Anything. Executive orders are not law. What executive orders are in the time of a president being in charge. So the Congress has the job of writing laws. The president has the job of enforcing law, and the judiciary, which is the courts, has the job of interpreting the law. Okay, so when a president, everything he's doing here, okay, when a president makes orders, he is enforcing law. Everything he's doing here has to be backed up by the Constitution or laws on the books. He can't counteract laws on the books. He can't counteract the Constitution. So if he does something that can be challenged, the Supreme Court has the duty to actually come in and say, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's not legal. That's their interpretation. So yes, they can go against anything. He's not king. We don't have a king, and thank God we don't. But Trump's smart. Every once in a while, I know a lot of people got mad at him when he did the bump stock ban. And I agree, like that's not what we're for. I'm not for any regulations against guns like that. But there's a lot of people who believe that he did that on purpose so that it would be challenged at the Supreme Court and overturned. And what happened? It went to the Supreme Court, is overturned, and now nobody will do it again. So I think sometimes Trump's crazy like a fox like that. And I think that's what this birthright citizenship's about. It will be challenged. He had to know it's going to be challenged, and it's going to go one or two ways. It'll either be upheld, and then we clear up a lot of problems of people coming in and having babies and just all of a sudden becoming citizens without doing any process. We clear that up. Or it gets overturned, interpreted another way, and Trump knows, okay, well, I can't do that. So that's fine. So, you know, it's smart to do it that way. Yeah, Zucker coming to look at Bezos. I saw, yeah, he got busted liking her on Instagram. So now what? Yeah, that picture was funny. Boswell says, my grandfather was James Boswell, Ursinus College economics professor, debate other professors about the New Deal ushering in socialism. Well, he was a smart dude then. He was a really smart dude. Casting says, if it's an emergency, court can't do a thing. That depends. Only if it's an emergency within his, it still can actually, Casting. It has to be an emergency within his area of power granted by the Constitution, which is specifically in foreign policy. That's where the president has almost complete unilateral power, and so courts. But the courts could still challenge. Ultimately, if the Supreme Court rules something, you're doing something unconstitutional, they can do that on anything. They do have that power. There have been times where a president in really dark times has done something unconstitutional, and the jury's out on whether or not it could have been challenged. Say in the Civil War, when Lincoln basically banned people from speaking bad about the North, banned journalists. He suspended habeas corpus. So, yeah, there's some things that sometimes people have done unconstitutional things in times of crisis, and they weren't challenged. But if they had been challenged, the question is, would they have been held up? But it's not that they can't be. The Supreme Court, the courts can challenge anything. So, any word on DJT? You know what? I'm not making predictions on DJT. I still feel very strongly about it. I'm not worried that I got attacked today. I think I think there's a combination of stuff going on with this whole Trump coin that popped up and other probably factors, people attacking it because trying to discourage everybody from Trump. I don't know. But listen, the story on DJT hasn't changed. It's still got the most powerful man in the world behind it. It's got the most powerful people coming in behind it, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, Devin Nunes. The company itself's got major plans for expansion. There's just way too many ways it can go right, and so few ways now that we're in power that it can go wrong, in my opinion. So I have no concerns about DJT at all. Big JR, I don't think Trump had intentions to prosecute Jan 6 committee, Fauci or Biden's, force Biden to pardon them and make them look guilty and like idiots 3D chess again. That's very true, very possible. Plus, they can still be held accountable by states. That's only federal crimes they're pardoned from. So, yes, he renamed the Gulf of Mexico via executive order too. No, he renamed it. It is now the Gulf of America, and also Mount McKinley, the largest mountain in America in Alaska, is now McKinley again. It was called. It had some Eskimo name for a little bit, but he changed it back to Mount McKinley. So yeah, some of that had as well. Lincoln had governors arrested. He did, yeah. Lincoln went all out in the Civil War, and it's understandable. But as far as I know, he wasn't challenged by the Supreme Court during it. But he could have been. So, Alan Krentz, like FDR taking gold and silver at not fair value change in value gold. Yeah, I mean, presidents have done unconstitutional things. There's no doubt about it, and a lot of them have gotten away with it. But that doesn't mean they couldn't be challenged. You understand? So. Oh, Google Maps is going to fight it as long as they can. Oh, it's Denali. Thank you, Automags. You're right. That's what it was. All right, look at this. You guys want a picture of how we're winning? This is Davos. So right now, the World Economic Forum is going on in Davos. And guys, it's like empty. It's empty. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz addresses half-empty Congress Hall at World Economic Forum 25 in Davos. You want sign we won? Look at all those empty seats. This was the big bad everybody was terrified of 4 years ago. And to some extent, rightly so. I mean, it's pretty clear that this is where a lot of the leaders are involved that are trying to undermine everything we are as a country. But I'm telling you guys, Trump's win is so much bigger. We have not even begun to unravel how big it is yet. Trump's win was not just America getting a Republican back in power. We won the culture, which is the most important thing, because culture now, since it's changed, it'll take another 20 years at least to get it going back, because we're just starting with this cultural takeover, the trend where we're headed. And that usually takes a generation to change, at least. So we got at least 20, 40 years now since the culture has just now shifted in a major way. But we won the culture. But the other thing is we defeated the globalists. We absolutely defeated them. They have nothing left. They're going to try. They're going to throw some things out. But think about all Trump's done already. We out of the WHO, that's going bye-bye. World Health Organization will either fall apart or become a shell of itself. Trump's demanding everybody, I think he signed an executive order for this too, demanding all countries pay 5% of their GDP to NATO in order to keep up with NATO, or else he can pull out of it. That'll collapse that, and which that's their way of using us around the world. We're going to no longer be abused by unfair trade policy. We're going to use tariffs. So that means we're going to choke out all the economies that only survive because they're abusing us. The world, and I mean this, the entire Western world, which is the WEF, is completely and utterly defeated now. All these people who are trying to change us into something we're not as Americans, it's done, and we're not going back. They cannot get us back. They can't. We're done. Trump was so smart in picking J.D. Vance because he has a backup now, or someone to succeed him and carry on the mission. And he's young. He's 41. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a very prophetic person. I trust this guy very much. He hears amazing stuff, and I hadn't talked to him in months. I hadn't talked to him since Trump won. And he called me today, and he said, "Hey, I've just been seeing all this stuff," and he's like, "I think what Trump's doing, it's like him and J.D. Vance, it's like David and Solomon." I told him, "Man, that's exactly what I've been saying." He was like, "No way." And I said, "Yeah, Trump is the one. He's defeating the enemies. He's clearing stuff out. He's the strength, and JD's the wisdom that's going to come build after all that's cleaned up." And he was like, "Dude, that's exactly what I've been thinking and hearing." And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And anyways, that's the golden age stuff. It's really happening, guys. It's really happening. So these guys are just done. They are just crushed, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's see here. JC Cool says on the people pardoned, he says, now they can be forced to testify. Yeah, they can no longer plead the fifth since they've been pardoned. So yeah, we could have Fauci up there. And now, since he can't plead the fifth, if he's caught lying, he can be caught for perjury and still be in trouble. Thomas Dubois says, Ace, wouldn't the Trump coin be good if DJT shareholders were issued a dividend, the Trump coin, and it was on blockchain? Yes, I think that would be absolutely huge. I think, just talk about Trump coin for a minute, I truly think that the Trump coin is not just going to be a meme coin. I think there's a plan behind it. We just aren't going to see what it is yet. And maybe, just maybe, like Thomas said, maybe it is going to turn into some kind of connection with DJT as a dividend or something like that. So who knows? It's impossible to know right now, but I don't think Trump just issued a meme coin to make a bunch of money. That's just not his style. That's just not his style. He always does something with another reason behind it. Mark, is it true I was busted by the SS for extending a handshake to Trump with a sweaty palm and a twitching? That was not me. Dude, I hear the biggest hedge fund emailed the new SEC asking for more time to turn over stuff. No. Yeah, did you tag me on that? Tag me on it. Type out my name when you do it, okay? Because that would be huge. I want to see that, Drew. Tag me on it before I leave. Can you provide aid to California with federal strings attached for forestry and water management? He could. Yes, he absolutely could. I agree. BRICS is going down. Trump coin RICO case. You think it's setting up a RICO case, Alan? What do you mean by that? Drew, unfortunately, says so many times when you tag me, it's not showing up. Let me see if I can find it. I think it might be because you're not a verified account, so it doesn't always like when you share stuff with me. Let me see if I can find this here, because I really want to look at this if that's true, if you're right about that. That would be huge. Man, it is not coming up for me, Drew. Can you try tagging me again? Did you write it as a comment or something? So I'm just not seeing it. So Alan, can you, I'm really interested in your theory here. Could you maybe type out just a little bit to give me some clues on how you're seeing it set up a RICO case? Franzia coin. That's what that's what Kamala's going to use to pay off her debt. Vanman, Trump coins demonstrated Solana network can't handle the volume XRP can. That's a good point. Yeah, it did. In fact, Coinbase ran out of Solana this week, which is crazy. All right, Drew, I'm trying to find this. It's just not, it's not wanting to show me. I hate when it does this. Can you DM me? Maybe it's better if you DM me. Yeah, why don't you try DMing me because I want to see the story, and then I'm gonna have to take off because I gotta catch up on rest, guys. Tomorrow. So, all right, let me. Why Drew tries to do that. So obviously, lots of good stuff going on. It's our country's getting back. So the rest of this week, tomorrow I have my surgery. So members, I'm sorry, you're not gonna get a members live tomorrow. I do apologize for that, but I'm having surgery tomorrow on my. I'm getting a hernia fix, so it's nothing major, but it's going to knock me out for at least a couple days, and so I will try to be back by the weekend, and we'll see where it goes from there. So just pray for me that the surgery goes well, and no complications. I don't think there will be. It's very simple, but I do appreciate the prayers. Anyways, because it's just always scary going on a knife. But yeah, so other than that, I'm following everything. I will keep letting you guys know, especially what's going on if I see anything with Trump coin, DJT, XRP, anything we've been following, obviously. And yeah, Drew, I'm sorry, it's just never come up. But so all right, guys. Well, hey. I gotta rest. I literally have not slept in 48 hours, maybe longer. So it's my time to get rest before I have my surgery tomorrow. Live stream my surgery for members. That would be funny. I'm like, I love it. But anyways, let's end in a prayer and just lots of gratefulness for obviously all this winning we're experiencing. So. All right, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless Trump. God bless our country. Thank you so much for the fact grown-ups are back in charge. We're so thankful for that. It just feels different now, and that's awesome. God, I just pray for wisdom for the Trump administration to keep moving forward, wisdom and boldness. I pray for all of us that we can see, we can have wisdom and the opportunities that might arise from all this, and I just pray a blessing over everybody here, whether it's healing, whether it's finances, whatever the relationships, whatever it is they need in their lives to have an upgrade. I pray that comes to them, Lord, and just that 2025 shapes up to be the best year God, any of us have had in a long time, if not ever. So thank you for all you're doing in our country and our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Love you guys. Roger says, hope it goes well. Fishing buddy had hernia surgery last month, kicked his ass. Oh, man. Oh, that's not fun. 83 likes. We can get to 100. Everybody, please like before you leave. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. I appreciate it. We'll catch up on that that story next time, okay, guys? Because it does sound like a great story to follow on the hedge fund. Can crypto be merged into DJT? I don't know, but people have done some interesting stuff with it. So anyways, well, all right, guys. Love you all. Have a great night. It's good to be back. You guys take care. And I will keep you posted on how everything goes with my surgery and all that. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Good night.